Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. It has not been very long. We went long last night. Well, we went to about a regular time, and then I came back on. Some of you maybe are not aware that we resumed our broadcast because Donald Trump is in more trouble. Wall Street Journal article dropped a bombshell late yesterday, just as we were signing off. The story was beginning to break. They released information on a birthday greeting, a letter that Donald Trump wrote way back in 2003 to Jeffrey Epstein, one of many from Epstein's friends at that time. But this is a different kind of letter. It's a letter with words in the shape of a naked woman, a silhouette of a naked woman, breasts, and a signature that mimics or appears to resemble pubic hair. So there's been a lot of fallout from that. We're going to get into that story tonight. Danielle Smith, Premier of Alberta, demanding an apology over the Jasper wildfire. We'll tell you why. Stephen Colbert, his show canceled. We'll get into that a little bit too. We'll get into that explosion that has killed some police officers on the U.S. side. Cuts in funding to public broadcasting approved by the Senate. And we have a whole lot more. Plus, we're going to wind up the show at the end by transitioning into Maverick MidKnight Matinee. And we have a double feature tonight from an old TV series that predates The Twilight Zone, Tales of Tomorrow, in the same vein as One Step Beyond Twilight Zone. But this came before, way before Twilight Zone. So we'll share 2 episodes of that with you tonight. And also, I need your help because I need to talk to you guys and get your advice on requests from people who are asking for donations. It's a difficult thing for me to deal with. I get many requests from people who ask that their fundraisers or GoFundMes or whatever they're doing, their charities, their personal requests for assistance because they're in need for something. I get a bunch of requests like that, and I just want your feedback. How should we handle these things? Because anytime I follow through and put anything like that on the program, I get backlash both ways. I get attacked. I get lambasted. I don't know what the heck to do with it. It's a difficult thing. So I've been, I have sort of a loose policy, but I want your feedback. Plus, the reason you can do that is because the reason you can offer your advice on that is because it is Open Line Friday, which means you get to call in, join the conversation, and share your views on the issues, the top stories of the day. Stay with me. We'll be right back after this.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
All right, we are back. So let's dive into this Epstein files scandal again. We won't stick with it too long tonight because, man, we covered it extensively last night for about an hour and a half. And thank you to Joseph and to Dragon for calling in last night, and to John, who also contributed to the conversation. I appreciate your input and your assistance weighing in on that story last night. It was breaking news, and as I said, Trump is in trouble. This is a story that's not going away. And the Wall Street Journal, with that bombshell story last night, they just amplified everything again. For years, Jeffrey Epstein, this disgraced financier and convicted sex offender who, we're told, died by suicide in a Manhattan jail. It's hard to believe that was way back in 2019. He has been at the center of this intense public scrutiny. Epstein's crimes involve sex trafficking, abusing minors, facilitated in part by his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted in 2021 and is serving a 20-year sentence. Although now we're hearing that the whole thing is a hoax, so I don't know what she's serving a sentence for. The so-called Epstein files, the documents from federal investigations, have fueled speculation, with many demanding transparency about Epstein's connections to powerful figures. And despite promises from the Trump administration to release more information, a Justice Department memo earlier this month stated no further files would be disclosed, citing court-ordered seals and protections for victims. This has sparked outrage, of course, among both supporters and critics of President Trump, who has long promised to shed light on the case. And now a new twist, of course, that we told you about last night. And I'll bring you up to speed in case you were not aware. The Wall Street Journal reported late last night that a body letter, allegedly signed by President Trump, was included in a 2003 birthday album for Epstein's 50th birthday, compiled by Maxwell. The letter reportedly contains a typewritten note styled as a conversation between Trump and Epstein, framed by a hand-drawn sketch of a naked woman with Trump's signature described as mimicking pubic hair. So the letter ends with, this is a quote from the letter, we're told, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Trump has vehemently denied writing it, calling it false, malicious, and defamatory. On Truth Social, he claims he personally warned the journal's owner, Rupert Murdoch, and editor Emma Tucker not to publish, and now vows to sue the outlet, News Corp, and Murdoch. Vice President J.D. Vance and allies like Laura Loomer have backed up Trump, dismissing the story as fabricated. The Journal stands by its reporting, citing documents reviewed by Justice Department officials. So the fallout has been chaotic. The report has reignited debate about Trump's past friendship with Epstein, which included attending events together, and Trump's 2002 comment to New York Magazine calling Epstein a terrific guy who liked beautiful women and on the younger side. The controversy has fractured Trump's base, with some, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, demanding full disclosure of Epstein files, while Trump has called such demands a hoax, perpetuated. Perpetuated by Democrats, of course. Congressional Democrats have also seized the moment, delaying votes on Trump's spending cuts to push for more transparency. So in response to the uproar, Trump ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi late Thursday to seek the release of grand jury testimony from Epstein's 2019 federal sex trafficking case. Subject to court approval, Bondi confirmed she'd file a motion today in Manhattan federal court, citing intense public interest, and apparently they are moving forward on that front. But what does this mean? Well, grand jury testimony is typically secret. used to determine if there's enough evidence to charge someone. In this case, it likely focuses on Epstein and Maxwell, not broader allegations about others. Legal experts warn that unsealing is rare and requires a judge to balance public interest against privacy concerns, especially for victims. Some pundits, influencers out there over the past 24 hours saying, no, it won't result in anything. This is in itself a distraction by Trump because in the end, it won't really reveal any additional information. This is a way for him to sort of throw the MAGA base a bone and not really give the public anything in the end. So no real information ultimately would end up being released just through the grand jury testimony. I guess it all remains to be seen. Even if approved, the Justice Department plans to redact personally identifying information to survivors is likely to happen. And this means the testimony might reveal some details about Epstein's crimes, but is unlikely to include the rumored client list, if it even exists as a list, or explosive evidence about third parties or anyone else involved in this. So it is, to say the least, a bombshell, a firestorm, and this is just adding more fuel to the fire as things progress. So Trump's in trouble on this. It's not going away. I said last night this could actually be the beginning of the end of the Trump administration. I think it could be that serious. I'm not, and I don't think I'm overstating that because the MAGA base is so invested in this. And yet at the same time, as I sit and look at it, and I'm editorializing here a bit, I'm seeing influencers on all sides now speculating a lot about, oh, this is the work of Mossad. This is the work of the Democrats. This is a hoax. No, it's real. And then I'm also hearing that, this is also being helped along with a Russian info war campaign. And so there could even be truth to that. There might be truth to all of these things. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is some element of all of these things in play with regard to the whole story. So I don't know. Why don't you guys call in tonight and join the conversation? You can weigh in on this and the other top news stories of the day by calling this number. I'll open up the phone lines now and continue with our coverage of the top news. And if you are so inclined, you can call in and comment on this Open Line Friday. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Exercise your right to free speech. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. All right, we are back. Okay, so that phone system is open. I'll just leave it so. You can call in if you are so inclined. While our coverage of the news continues, I'll put the number up on the screen. Oh, we won't put it there. We'll do the scrolling ticker on the bottom. There it is, 1-647-734-4220. And when prompted, just punch in that PIN number, 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. So all that happening on the Trump front. Also, with regard to Trump, we are seeing that, where did it go here? He was talking about crypto. Cryptocurrency. Yeah, here it is here. Yeah. Well, first of all, capital gains tax. And then I've got another clip of him talking about cryptocurrency. So Trump has said over the last day or so that he's considering legislation that might remove the capital gains tax on the sale of homes entirely. And that is a unique approach. Certainly adds more incentive to purchasing and owning your own home. Here it is here.
About this new bill that's going to basically eliminate no capital gains tax on home sales to be able to free up the money. People who've owned a house for a long time can't afford to pay the capital gains.
Yeah, well, we're looking at that, and it could be a very big positive. I don't think for you, because you make so much money, it doesn't matter. But I think it's going to be a great incentive for a lot of people that really need money.
So between that and Jerome Powell stepping down, that could really boost home sales.
Well, I think if Jerome Powell stepped down, it would be a great thing. I don't know that he's going to, but he should.
Yeah, I think the more he talks about Jerome Powell and maybe firing Powell, that actually creates more instability in the markets. He should not really be intervening to that degree. I don't think it's not appropriate. And it was Trump who appointed Powell anyway, I think, wasn't it? So he said that Biden did it, but it wasn't. Let me bring this back up here. So here's Trump now talking about crypto. And the word is that he is fully committed, he says, to never allowing a central bank digital currency in the United States. He says he is going to pass legislation to ban central bank digital currency. But I'm not sure how much water that really holds, because he's also embracing cryptocurrencies in general. And so I think maybe a central bank digital currency is going to be introduced through a back door. Maybe Bitcoin will become the CBDC.
I also remain fully committed to my pledge never to allow the creation of a central bank digital currency in America. It won't happen. My first... Thank you. And the other night, I will say, with some of the congressmen and women, they wanted that so badly. That was so important to them. I was impressed that they knew what the hell it was, to be honest with you. Please, sir, please, the central bank digital currency, well, you have to make sure, sir. And I'm saying, what do you know about that? It's amazing the knowledge that people have gained all of a sudden. We had a lot of problems with some of them. I said, we've already got it from the Fed, right, from Commerce, and from an executive order. You don't need it a fourth time. Sir, we have to get it. It's amazing. But they knew their subject, though, didn't they, huh? And we helped them out. My first week in office, I signed an executive order to ban the creation of a CBDC in the United States, and very soon I look forward to signing legislation that will codify and ban make it a permanent law, put it in permanence. I'm also committed to signing landmark crypto market structure legislation this year to grow the industry. We're going to be growing it even more than people ever thought. It's a really hot industry.
Well, Bitcoin is certainly hot. I don't know what the price is today, but we are about to find out. So what is it? Down to 117,934. It was up overnight, I believe, over 120,000, I think, in the last few days. Let's just take a look at the chart. Where is it on the graph tonight? 117,934.50. So it's down a little bit from where it sort of was. And I think we've got a caller coming in. Let's bring our first caller of the night in. Who's on the line with us? Hang on just a second. Let me get you up on the screen. And there's Carol. Hello, Carol. Welcome to the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call again, Rick.
Yeah. What's up?
My thoughts on the Epstein is that I don't think it's going to matter what he's done. I honestly think that it's just going to go away. And the reason I'm saying that is that I have relatives, across the states that I'm getting feedback from, and they're actually convinced this has something, it's a hoax that's probably something that that's come from the other side. So they really, it's already going, it's just not going to happen. I've been listening to you, and I understand your perspective is that, this is going to have that he's going to be held accountable for this.
Oh, I don't know that he would. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it could. I'm not saying it will. No real prediction here.
No, it's just I'd love to see something happen, but after what we've been through in these last few years, and you think you're going to see someone pay for it just a little bit, and it never happens. It just doesn't happen. It's just everybody just closes their eyes again, and it just keeps going on and on. And I think the same thing's going to happen here.
Can I share a thought with you?
Oh, sure.
So I woke up this morning and I was thinking like you. Nothing's going to happen to this guy. This is theater. This is what it is. You know what? If he is guilty of something, this letter in itself, he might have planted it. This creates confusion. And you have to prove a crime like this beyond the shadow of a doubt. So if you want to create doubt, you don't try to prove your innocence. You create fake evidence to convict yourself. Then you can portray yourself, after you leak that to the media, as you can portray yourself as a victim, right, of the media, where you're being attacked when you expose the information for being fake. And do you see what I'm saying? And
I do.
There's so much of this that's been going on anyway in politics, whether it's, a live streamer running into the middle of a protest to get assaulted accidentally on purpose so that they can then portray themselves as a victim in order to get clicks and street cred. Right.
Instead of actually reporting the story, making a story about themselves.
Exactly. Yes. And so this is a way for Trump to keep the focus on him, to continue to have himself portrayed as a victim of the fake media, the fake news, right? So I had that thought, and I think that's a possibility as well. But the beauty of all of that for him is nobody ever really knows for sure what the heck is going on.
No, and that's where we all are. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole problem. No, but and it's like Joseph was talking about that. Can we really even substantiate this? I mean, has it really? How are we proving this? I mean, this leather book with the letters, and how do we actually prove
fingerprints?
It? Okay.
Even then, it's faked. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Some people will believe it. Some people won't.
Well, that's the problem. We don't know what's right or what's not good. But the comment I have is just, there's nothing going to happen here. I honestly, it's just, okay, if I see it, then I have no hope that this bugger's going down for anything. So he will continue to claw around, do his ghoulish stuff. It'll be with, it's not going away.
And don't forget that these guys are in charge now. Whoever is in charge, they get to control the information by controlling even what evidence you actually get to see. You're going to release this, you're going to release that. They could release some, hide other stuff. They can break the law and get away with it because they're the ones with the key to the evidence locker,
Yeah. So what do you do with that? So what do you do with that? How do you talk to people about that? Like, I'm telling people, I can't support you anymore. I mean, I can't believe you're supporting a sexual predator, right? I can't believe that you can't see this, right? But it's it's like you're saying, everybody's getting these bits of information that they want to hear.
Yeah.
So,
and see, all that he has to do now is just pull something out that shows that some piece of evidence was fabricated and that he's being attacked with it. And then everybody that he was saying, you're all weak and I don't want your support anymore. You've all fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker. They'll all come running back to him again and go, I'm sorry, Daddy Donald. You were right again. Trump was right about everything. And in reality,
why don't you gaslight me harder?
Yes,
Daddy.
That's right.
But and I got it. And then just to a side note regarding Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm wondering how many days does she have left before she shot herself twice in the head and hung herself in her prison cell. Has anybody thought about it's how many days does she have left?
She knows everything.
She knows everything, but that's because of that. I mean, would you like to be Ghislaine Maxwell right now?
No, she's in dangerous territory too. Who's on the line with us? Who's the other person who just joined?
Well, it's you, good old Dragon.
Well, Dragon, welcome back.
Hi, Dragon.
Hi.
What are you thinking, Dragon? Thank you for calling in last night, by the way, Dragon, and helping out. That was very helpful.
Always a pleasure to give you a bit of my perspective from Montreal, as always.
So, what are you thinking tonight? Anything new, or are you still on track?
Well, I do. I think I'm still on track. But the thing is that, how can I put that? There's a lot of division that it's going to create around the mainstream media and also around social media, because what is going on is that, well, you got Trump basically in the hot water, and Trump didn't wanted that at all. And right now he's kind of pedaling to trying to, well, let's put it this way. It's damage control kind of situation here in the White House.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, his opponents are going to try to make some of this stuff stick. They're not giving up on it. It's not going away, but he's slippery. And he could just kind of get just.
Well, everyone did voted at some point in the American population. The American population did actually voted for Trump to, at some point, get these name on paper, right? And calling the names and whatnot. So what you have here is that you got Trump that is trying to decipher the people from that information which they want to have. So that's going to anger them to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Dragon, can I ask you if I can, Dragon, do you really think it's going to anger? I think you're saying that the MAGA base will be angered by not having access to the information, but from what I'm seeing, they don't care. There's a lot of them that don't care. I mean, on this.
Yeah, well, some of the MAGA base people were actually a few days ago when Trump did said to the journalist, why are you still asking questions and wasting your time on the Epstein case? Some people basically just jumped on their barbecue and basically burned all their MAGA merchandise at some point. So this is what happened. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's everyone, but some of the crude MAGA population was very frustrated from that point. So, on that perspective.
Yeah, but I get the feeling, Dragon, that somehow we were led to believe that. I don't think it's as many MAGA protesters as we think. It's,
Carol,
I really don't believe that.
I'm kind of with you, Carol, because I was thinking about this morning, like Dan Bongino, I'm not coming into work Friday. And then that makes headlines, right? And then, you see all the other MAGA influencers and Trump saying, you shut up and don't talk about that. Okay, I'm sorry. And then, it's all this is making news and they look like they're fighting. And yet I can't. But then Donald Trump the next day says, yeah, but I like Dan Bongino when asked by a reporter. And I'm like, these guys are all going to reconcile and be friends again real soon.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that's what I mean, how it's just going to disappear. It's just going to disappear. And the base, the people out there, the ones that are supporting them, the little people, right? They're still hanging on to this. They're still and this goes right back to Trump with, I can shoot somebody in the head on Fifth Avenue and no one's going to give a crap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that is not justice. So we're in trouble.
It's really, I heard what you were talking about last night and that you thought, no, this is a big one. It's different. And I thought, yeah, it is different. And I understood your perspective on, the pedophilia and the fact that, that resonates with people, but it doesn't matter because it's this guy, because it's this guy.
Yeah. His Trump voodoo magic that he has, the MAGA mind tricks, Jedi mind tricks, right? Yeah.
It's come on. We've been there. We've been around the block how many times with this guy. I mean, why should this be completely different? Even given the fact there's, pedophilia and there's sex trafficking. It doesn't matter. This base that he has. There's just, they're thinking.
This is where the polarization is actually being enacted. They are trying to enact on your ethos, or if you will, your emotion, because everyone that state of mind, if you will, that if you say that I'm doing something against some kids or abusing some kids, it's going to frustrate you to a certain extent, where this is going to take you from the emotional perspective and what you're going to look at when you're going to look at the news, you're going to look at the emotional state that it's provide you, and basically the emotional compound that comes with all that. So this is where it is taking people on a certain, I would say, trigger center.
It's a combination of things, I think, Dragon, because if I think back to where I was, say, in like 2016 with Trump, I think I was like many, many, many Americans. This is a guy who's been on TV. He's a business guy. As a Canadian, I kind of watched from a distance, right? Now here he is coming down the escalator, and then you've got all these people attacking him from the Democrat side, saying, "Oh, he's a racist and he's a this and he's a that, and he's a Russian asset." And I'm like, "Oh, come on, it's Donald Trump." And so I can't believe what they're saying. First of all, it seems too crazy to be true, and so it's taken a long time because I've got this. There's this built-in trust factor. Then you layer into that all of the crazy, psychological psyop stuff that has been going on since probably just before 2016, the QAnon stuff, and, propping him up almost like a deity or a god, how he's infallible, he can't make mistakes, Trump's right about everything.
Exactly.
Then you layer in, even the assassination attempts and stuff, and the talk of all of that, and it's like the guy is starting to look like he's invincible, and people are, so the people buy into this. So you've got this built-in trust. Now he's elevated to this status of almost godlike.
That's it.
And do you know what got him to that?
Thank you,
Those
sir.
assassinations.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I mean, I somewhere in my gut, something's really stinky about those assassination things. And I think, I don't know if I can say it out loud, but I can say, I don't believe it. And I think it was staged. And I think that's going to be a scandal that might top off the Epstein. But I think there's something I just can't believe that really happened. It's so easy to stage that stuff. I mean, that's just easy kindergarten staging stuff. I don't believe that was actually a real assassination attempt. It just gave him the power to stand up and say, fight, 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 and I'm your God and your savior. And I don't know.
You know,
Well, you did.
I hate going down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but I'll tell you, you just could not have planned the moment better to get that snapshot of him standing up, fist in the air, the American flag right behind him, the photographer
Yeah.
perfectly positioned to get that shot with the blood on his face, right? I mean, it's just like the perfect moment, and it's captured right
yeah.
there. We made a t-shirt out of it because I was buying into it to a degree at the time as well, right? But I'm
Yeah,
kinda
I
like,
think
wait a minute.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy to when something like this happened. For example, I would have been, for example, at the Palestinian protest and doing something around these ways, and say survive some ordeal, for some example, and then I come back and say, it's like miraculous that I'm still surviving. That would give me a sort of godlike, say, perspective to the people. So when you are, and that's just me, but if you look at a person that is like the president, like Donald Trump, this is giving him basically the godlike, and I mean a god, perfect like ideology or image, I think, for the people. So this is where I think Trump did try to pay out his way to the American perspective and the American emotion on that perspective. Make sense?
Yeah, for me, this administration, this Trump 2.0, it has been different. He's far more authoritarian, far more heavy-handed. Even his approach to the economy is way more extreme with the tariffs. So for me, the shiny coating of Trump has really just come right off. And all we're going to take over Greenland. We're going to take over Canada.
Yeah.
We want Panama Canal. We want Panama back,
Yeah, because it seems like there's kind of an urgency now.
Yeah.
There's some sort of a timeline where I don't know if there's a list somewhere that they have to get, there's a check thing. They have to get this done and this done and this done.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't tell you what's going on, but it does seem like they're on a timeline, and there's a certain amount of things they have to accomplish, Greenland and Panama and Canada and the whole thing. And so everything's getting really rushed. We can all see that. We can all feel there's just something pretty weird going on, because that's just way too speedy. Like, what are you guys talking about? I also am concerned with if something happens to Trump, because it looks like he's basically rotting out of his body. If it's going to be J.D. Vance who's going to take over.
That's what I said at the end of the broadcast, our second broadcast last night. I said, be careful what you wish for.
Right.
We might end up with J.D. Vance. And I think that's worse.
I think there's a reason J.D. Vance got into that position. And a lot of it comes through, who was it? He's part of who created Palantir? Like, there's a reason J.D. Vance is in there.
Yeah.
And I think they want him to take the reins.
Oh, yeah.
So
I said from the beginning.
I got a question for you.
That guy's a manufactured candidate. He has kind of come out of nowhere. Before he was even a name, they made a movie about him.
Wasn't that the one he wrote? Wasn't he the writer?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the hillbilly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't he write that story?
Well, it's about him. It's about his life.
Yeah. Okay. So, wow, I didn't know it was like
it's a biography on J.D. Vance, and I'm like,
I didn't know
why would you make a movie about a politician that nobody even knows about yet? Because you're manufacturing the guy. That's why.
That's it.
Oh, I know who it was.
It goes along with what I portrayed yesterday, actually. Remember what I showed you yesterday on X? What happened back in 2022, if I do remember well, what was the
Oh
JD
yeah,
Vance comment on X about if you're a true journalist, you should
yeah,
do, investigation on the Epstein case. And
yeah.
then now he's going all like full-fledged,
Yeah.
sorry to say, but full-fledged damage control on, no, don't look
Oh
into
yeah, he
it because
flipped.
we could
Yeah.
we could probably find something that could alarm us and make us
Yeah,
hurt.
he flipped like a hotcake. That was good. That was good coverage. I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, all of us. Yeah, like flipped like a hotcake. Oh, but I was talking about. So you know who put him in power though? It was Peter Thiel.
Yes, that's right.
All right. So Peter Thiel. If you ever want to look up what Peter Thiel's all about, okay. So there is definitely an agenda here,
Oh,
and anyways, just some thoughts.
yeah, I really worry about JD Vance. I've never trusted him. There's just personally, this is my personal opinion.
No.
There's something he's manufactured. That's why I don't.
But there's a
trust him.
good reason not to trust him.
Well,
there's a really good reason. I mean, they're not just instincts or, I don't feel right about him. Like, seriously.
Can I put my intake real quick? What happened when the leader of Africa was at the White House and JD Vance said something along the way that I believe what I seen on X, and this is what the white people were being getting into at that point in time. So I mean,
was that South Africa?
Yeah, was it the guy from South Africa?
So they were accusing him of
You
all the
remember
mess.
that?
Yeah,
I remember
that
what. Yeah, he was like more getting like say trusting X. What was X telling JD Vance instead of what the African leader could tell him from the
I've
real
seen the
thing.
videos, so I know what's going on.
I think you're kind of mixing up the two different events. That was Zelensky, and Zelensky invited Vance to come to Ukraine, and Vance said to Zelensky that he's seen the videos. And that Zelensky is wrong. He said, "You're just wrong."
Right, but I'm like, Rick, I think it happened, and I think it happened again. I don't know.
No, that was what you're thinking of. Is they had leaders from South African countries come to the White House, and Trump. What was I have to look up the name of the politician. But Trump basically insulted him because you speak such good English, but that's the official language.
No. I think
that's another one.
Yeah, Dragon and I are I think we're talking about the same thing here. It's where he was insinuating that he knows all the tragedy that's going on in the country. Now he definitely said it with Zelensky as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
the white limousine with the cross on them that was basically giving the image of the people that killed the white people.
Right. Yep.
Exactly. So he made reference to this again. I get my facts from, I see the video.
Yeah.
I get my receipt from X and whatnot, all other social media, but I'm not gonna, believe a leader from the country where the thing is happening.
Because it was about the white farmers, right? The white farmers.
And Trump said
the white farmers
were actual graves and along the highway because they had all those crosses, but the crosses were just representations as part of a protest.
They were.
Right.
And then we had Caroline Levitt, who said, all of those crosses out there have a buried body under there. Don't you understand that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was,
but
as soon as I saw that, I was like, what are these people talking about? They don't bury people right on the side of the highway. Like, it's just like, no.
Not even in South Africa.
But anyway, I can't remember the name of the
I know, I can't
Liberia. It was Liberia, though. I think it's
the Liberian was the one where he complimented on his English, right?
That's right.
And
President Bokai, I think.
Yeah.
is the name.
And
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
you
something
speak
like
very
that.
good English.
Just
Where
very
were
good
you?
English.
Where did you study?
It was so condescending and so bigoted. He's like, where were
Yeah.
where were you educated? Like, do they actually have schools where you come from? Like, it's just like you're just such a bigot. Like, oh my God.
English is the
Yeah.
first language in your country, but hey, you gotta go to English, you
Oh,
know?
just the president of Liberia,
Oh,
and he's like,
God.
where did you get an education? Well, that's really that's what grade did you go to? I went
Yeah,
to grade
like assuming
6. Oh, okay.
yeah, I was thinking assuming you got past grade 3.
Yeah, it's
Oh
not
I'm
yeah,
very
it's
sorry
just so
to ask.
embarrassing.
I'll tell you this.
There's
Trump's-
some people
Trump's-
on the chat that is asking who's with me on the chat on the phone. Just
Oh, it's Carol.
just for
It's Carol.
reference.
It's Carol. Introduce yourself
All right.
again, Carol, and tell people where you're from.
Oh, where I'm from?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I'm from Calgary, but 5 years ago when the world fell apart, I have a second home in Fairmount Hot Springs, British Columbia.
Oh.
So I came here, well, 5.5 years ago during the crazy show. And when I came here, I never went back. So myself and my husband, we sold our home in Calgary, and now we live on this little piece of paradise. And so I did introduce myself in the beginning, Carol from Calgary, because that's kind of just what came out. But I am Carol from Fairmount Hot Springs, BC. It's a beautiful little piece of property. We're surrounded with mountains and streams and lakes. I have a huge garden, and I've been so blessed, for all the stuff we had to go through, for all the COVID havoc, and it pretty much destroyed a lot of things for me, but it also put me in heaven here. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm Carol from Fairmount.
Well, we love you guys out west.
Yeah.
Most
Well,
of you, some of you are kind of crazy.
I absolutely. I used to think Danielle Smith was wow. She was wow, and I see the threat that she what she potentially, or maybe not even potentially, what she's in progress with, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Did
you see?
I am not a supporter of Danielle Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing good to say about. I mean, we've got EB here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another crazy nut.
Yeah.
Right. God, it's really hard to. I mean, honestly, I'm a firm believer, though, in keeping our country together. I think we're all in this together, and whatever we have to do to help each other out is our duty. Mm-hmm. It's so I don't want to hear about anybody about separating, or we've got flags all over my neighborhood here about F carney and this and F that, and they're still back there with COVID brain, right? It's everybody's trying to do something to them, like you can't trust the government.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, we're all Canuckistanians, so
right.
Yeah, and we're all.
And if you don't like it, then pack your bags, and I'll help you out of town. Yeah. I've got a truck. I'll help you. Pack as much as you want, and I'll get you where you want to go, and don't come back.
Did you see what Danielle Smith was saying today about the Jasper wildfire? How she wants an apology? I have her statement.
I'm not clear on that.
No, I'm not aware of it.
She says here, this is her statement. She says, statement on Jasper wildfire response and recovery. It is disheartening to see a report and the media response to that report that so clearly overlooks the substantial coordinated efforts. There was a government report that came out. I think it was a federal report talking about, how the situation with the Jasper wildfire was handled, right? So they criticized the provincial response, I guess. So she says it clearly overlooks the substantial coordinated efforts undertaken by the Alberta government during the Jasper wildfire. Alberta's swift deployment of crews, emergency funding, operational support played a critical role in protecting lives and infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. She goes on, and it's a fairly lengthy thing. I've got the clip, actually, that I can play for you. If you give me a moment, I'll play it for you. But Yeah, I think Danielle Smith is kind of controlled by those who put her in power, and I think a fair number of those people are separatists.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it makes that's what I'm seeing too.
Mhm.
Well, you can just look at who's supporting her,
Mhm.
right? It's right there in front of you if you
It
really want to
absolutely
look
is.
at it.
Yeah, it's the Alberta Prosperity Project.
Yeah.
It's those guys. It's those are the ones
Yeah,
who could
you can
put her in
smell it
power.
now. I mean, I mean, I can smell it now. So there's something going on there, and that's been in the works from the beginning. So
Can
I
I
don't know
put
about the
something?
Jasper. Are they talking about? Do you remember when? Now Jasper was a big deal here for a lot of us in this area of the West here, and
Mhm.
there were reports earlier. It was that were sent to Stephen Guilbeault at the time,
Mhm.
that they needed to come and clean up and like this Jasper was set up for wildfires, old trees and,
That's what they say. Yeah.
wood. It needed a good cleanup. They needed to do some firewalls. They did need to come in and do some cleanup.
Yeah, so the
And
story as it is tonight is she's demanding an apology from the town of Jasper over this report criticizing the provincial government's role in last summer's wildfire in Jasper. So last July, wildfires tore through Jasper National Park. That's a federal park, okay, in Alberta's Rocky Mountains, as you know. Oh, we've got somebody else who wants to come in. I better bring them up on the screen here before
the
we...
town wants an apology.
There we go. Somebody else joining, but let me just finish the info on this. So, so the fire forced the evacuation of like 25,000 people. The response involved a unified command structure led by the municipality of Jasper, Parks Canada, with the support from Alberta Wildfire and other provincial agencies. But there's this new report, which was commissioned by Jasper and released yesterday, and it has sparked this heated dispute. So the report was based on surveys of over 200 firefighters in a workshop with 68 attendees. It included government agency representatives and claims the Alberta government, led by Smith's UCP party, hindered firefighting efforts. It alleges provincial officials, despite lacking jurisdiction in the federally managed park, created political challenges by requesting excessive information and attempting to make decisions, diverting focus from the wildfire response and re-entry planning. And the report was intended to support continuous improvement, not assign blame, according to Jasper's chief administrator, Bill Given. So today, the premier fired back at it was an unrelated news conference in Edmonton, but she calls this report unfair. And I have the clip ready to roll here. I can share it with you. This is what Danielle Smith had to say about it.
Okay.
Hi there, Julia Wong, CBC National. This is a question for the Premier. A report into the Jasper wildfire response says the province regularly requested information and tried to make decisions. The report also says that incident commanders spent more time managing inquiries instead of directing the response. Did the province make the situation worse in Jasper?
We absolutely did not. I'm very disappointed that this report politicizes what actually should be a very successful example of unified command and support between municipal, provincial, and federal government. As you know, the Alberta government provided $181 million worth of support, disaster recovery program funding, evacuation payments. We supported the Red Cross. We gave tourism support. We reestablished the Jasper Food Bank. We gave property tax relief. We rebuilt a seniors complex, and we supported regional transit services. I think that it is important to understand that this was a federal fire. It took place in a federal park, and it was a federal Parks Canada response. We stayed on standby awaiting their request for supply and support, which they gave to us, or which they ultimately did end up asking us to do. And we moved into unified command only after the fire had reached Jasper and burnt down 1/3 of it. So I would have liked to have seen two things come out of this report. Number one, a recognition that the reason why we ended up with such tragic circumstances, in part, was because of inappropriate forest management practices that doesn't cut down deadwood trees. And also, I wish that they had realized that they needed to ask for unified command faster, because we were not asked for support until after the town burned down. So whatever it is that they are trying to do to deflect blame, I'm not impressed with it, and I would ask for an apology from the city as a result. We want to work collaboratively with our municipal and federal partners, but pointing fingers at others when they should be looking at what they can do to improve their own response would have been a far better outcome as we approach the year anniversary.
And this is just a clarification question of my question one. Did the province at any point during the wildfire response get feedback that it was getting in the way of the wildfire response?
Not at all. In fact, when we showed up with equipment, we showed up with tankers, we showed up with personnel. We had a firefighter die in the process of trying to manage the response. We had drones that were monitoring hotspots for weeks afterwards to be able to determine safe re-entry. At no point did they say they did not want our response. And so this report comes as a shot out of the blue. It's unfair, it's untrue, and I would like them to withdraw it.
And so my second question is,
the thing is, I'm going to play this other clip because there's this other clip that's circulating online as well. This one goes back to last year, and it seems to contradict herself, because what she just said there contradicts where she says here. She says Smith claims that she has nothing to do with the fire until well after the fire entered Jasper, and yet she's also trying to say that they were part of a coordinated effort. Anyway, I'll just play the clip and let you guys weigh in on this as well. It's just a very brief one. Here it is here. So it's on X tonight, and this is from last year.
Hey everyone, like you, I'm watching the tragedy unfold in Jasper, and my thoughts are with the people who have evacuated and are watching this as well, and also those who are still in the community. Make sure if you can leave, please leave safely. Take care of yourself. Also to the emergency responders and firefighters, where we wish you all the luck in fighting this fire and keeping safe as well. I've been in constant contact over the last couple of days, not only with my team, but also reaching out to our federal counterparts, where we're working together with the City of Jasper, as well with Parks Canada and our own Alberta Emergency Management Agency. And we're going to do everything we can to put this fire out.
So I guess the point is that here she's saying they're in constant contact and talking all the time, but then today she's saying they didn't have any involvement at all, or weren't allowed to get involved, I guess, until it was completely burned down. But then I'm also hearing her say that they showed up with gear and personnel and they had a firefighter die. So even just today, there seemed to be contradiction there. Am I misinterpreting this, or what are you guys getting from this?
Well, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because of my ties with Jasper and what I understood, it's confusing. Her what she said on her recent post here, that's sort of what I thought was going on. So with the contrast, I'm trying to square around what she's saying differently, and she is saying something different. It's one of those. It's one of these things where I've got to take some time to process that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. There were a few things going on with all of that last year. I got upset because there were anti-government people who were like, if the firefighters show up, they're there to kill you. Just don't listen to them. If the police show up, just go around their blockades and go in and try and save your own house. They're trying to burn you out. I'm like, no. If they tell you to leave, you should leave. So I don't think.
I don't think we were right here. I mean, I understood. I'm close to Jasper, and I honestly people. It was a tragedy.
Yeah.
I think most of the people there actually understood. If you got to get out of there. I mean, that's just. But if there was anyone trying to stick there because they honestly thought it was a government takedown, I mean, I'm not even going to debate that there aren't individuals who are thinking that way, right? I mean, but I think for the most part, what we thought or what we were hearing,
everyone was
get out of there.
What was going on?
because of everything else going on right now, nobody knows any bloody truth to anything anymore.
No, there's no trust, right? We've lost trust in our institutions.
Honestly, it's just how we are now, right now. So she's asking for an apology, because she wants to have been known and have been offering all of these services, and now maybe she wasn't. And so this is new. This is something I'm going to have to
the other thing, Carol, is that the other strange thing, this is happening, well, right after, just like last week, we saw these US politicians level criticism at the Canadian government and write letters to governments up here complaining about the smoke coming across the border and criticizing Canada for not taking proper care of the forests, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, uh-oh, another shot across the bow on the 51st state stuff.
Yeah, because bad Canada.
Yeah.
Bad Canada.
Again.
Yeah.
Somebody else just joined us. Who's there?
Lori here. Rick, how are you tonight?
Great, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Hey, Carol, you're a breath of fresh air coming in there. I'm glad to hear you on there tonight. How you doing, Dragon?
Good to see you, Maury.
Yeah. Rick, the last 12 years of my career as a professional forester, I worked on fire as a support worker and kind of worked my way up through the ranks and within the province of Ontario. And I was on some provincial fire crews as transportation manager, camp manager, and that. And I've worked with people from every province across the country. I've worked with any foreign firefighters, but these are truly the finest people that I've ever had contact with. And when you're on a fire very much like Banff, and again, I was never on one that involved towns burning. I had a lot of contact with folks that worked on Slave Lake. But you have an incident commander on charge of that fire and a fire team. And when they are requesting resources, usually it's backfilled somewhere across the country, whether it's water bombers or fire crews. It might be hoses and sprinklers. But I think what people have to keep in mind, and anybody that's ever been close to this business, is that the firefighters don't actually put these fires out. They need a break someplace along the line, whether it's weather, usually it's weather, to get the fire to sit down, to get them to have a run at it. And obviously, what happens in these situations, and again, I don't know, there should be a management plan for the Banff forest there, and whether they cut down dead trees or not, well, that's up to the forest manager there. But these folks are working day and night. They work 16-hour days. I know I put in 16-hour days. And then usually there's a press release that goes out, and everything that goes on these fires is documented. It's written down someplace along the line. So there should be some kind of credible report that's put together at the end, and the whole situation is evaluated. So,
can I ask you a question of you?
Yes.
So this whole thing of like it's improper forest management, they didn't clear out the dead wood. I've echoed those comments at times here on the program, but I sit and wonder if that's really fair, because when I was out, I've been out to British Columbia a couple of times, and when I look up in the mountains and I look at the trees, I can't count all the trees on the side of the mountain. Like, it's such a huge thing. How does any government or any government agency or forest management service, like, how do you possibly clear out all the dead wood from massive forests? Like, is that a fair criticism?
Well, not that we're going to go out there and cut down individual trees. I mean, there would be a management plan written for Banff, as a park, there must be a manager in charge there.
Yeah.
And whether they choose to go out and take down every dead tree, that's up to them. But I mean, that's completely impossible.
Yeah.
Lori, have you heard of they actually do they start fires to burn down trees.
Controlled burns.
We do it here all the time.
Burns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. We
As
do a lot of
forest
that here.
Yeah, as a forest manager in Northern Ontario, I work very close with the MNR to get areas harvested that would be eligible for a prescribed burn, so we could get that area back into productive forest as soon as possible. Like if you get a is the other thing you have to throw in there too, common to Ontario, is that we have the infestations of spruce budworm, and that's basically the caterpillar coming in there and eating the balsam fir and eating the white spruce, and it's kind of nature's way of setting itself up for the fire to go through and then renew the forest once again.
Yeah, well, but doesn't that make sense? I mean, we see this all the time. I live in an area where it's going on. Well, I'm sure they're not doing it now as we're getting warmer, but it usually starts up in March. And as soon as they can, they're doing this, it's going on daily, right? There's a burn going on here and a burn going on there. And it's, a way of cleaning things up.
Oh, for sure. Generally speaking, and like the practice in Ontario is to bring the whole tree to the side of the road, and then they take the limbs off it and then cut it into lengths there and send it to sawmills and pulp mills. But that if you leave a brush pile at the back of the road, then you want to burn that off, and because what you're taking up there is you're basically taking up productive real estate. And if you go through successive crops of timber, you're going to eliminate a good portion of your productive land. So, but no, I just wanted to give a shout out to the people that work on those fires. And thank you for doing that, because I can't imagine anything more brutal than standing out there, like you said, for maybe 16 hours. And none of us have an understanding of what that actually feels like. It's I have family members who work on, who are firefighters too, and do it, and a couple of them are young nieces and nephews, and it's just brutal, absolutely brutal. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. What generally happens within the satellite camps? And I'm speaking off what I know from Northern Ontario, is if the satellite camps are running and they have kitchens up and ready to go, and they bring crews in from the bush that have maybe been out there for 6 or 7 days, and they want to get them in to have a shower and get cleaned up, and that any of the support workers that are in the food line at lunchtime just back down until all the guys, the firefighters, all the guys and gals go through that line first.
Oh my God. It's just, wow. People have no idea.
Yeah, well, Maureen just gave us, say, a perspective of what you can brought to that perspective, actually. And on a macro perspective, which we can probably brought to a broader perspective at the same time at the end of the day. So yeah, that's I think it's a good insight.
Well, I just wanted to add a little bit in there. Just one comment I wanted to make before I go, Rick, and you were talking about who you're going to support out there and who you're going to direct funding to or suggest funding. I think that's for you to make that decision. And, if you want to recommend somebody, that's fine with me. And then it's back in my court for me to do that, to do the research there. And then for me to make up my mind whether I'm going to donate there or not. So.
It puts me in a difficult spot, because if I do it for one person, I get 5 other requests. Then, if I allow people to, even mention it on the program, it comes across as an endorsement of some kind when it may not be. And then, I have concerns sometimes about whether some things are legitimate or not. And if it turns out that somebody does something improper, it can come back and reflect even on me because I've allowed it to be on the program when I maybe haven't thoroughly researched it. So I'm really torn. At the same time, I have in the past allowed people to promote what they're like, some sort of a fundraiser. My house got blown down by the big bad wolf. Help me. But then somebody else says, well, you didn't help me.
Yeah. I don't think that's part of what your format is here. I just don't believe that's something you should have to deal with. I don't think.
No, I agree with you
you
there. I agree with you there, Carol, 100%. It's not for Rick to do the.
It's not your problem.
Yeah, he can throw it out there, but again, it's back in my court and your court to decide if we're going to contribute or not. So,
well, I have
until you want to do it
right now for Rick. And I'm like,
until you want to do a telethon, Rick, or something, like where you're actually broadcasting, taking requests for this. I don't know. You want to do a Jerry Lewis telethon or something? But
like I have.
No, it's not your problem.
I mean, I have, even when I was at, at CTV, we would sometimes do stories and charities would, of course, be mentioned, and that would result in donations going to the charities. But when it comes to individuals, I'm a lot more cautious, and I'm torn. I do want to help people, but at the same time, it just.
I'm sure you do, and you help a lot of people. You help a lot of people with this program. So I think you're doing what you can, and you're not a network anymore. You're not supported by others.
That's right.
You're doing a solo job here, and I think you should keep in mind you're really helping a lot of people doing just what you do. So you have limitations.
Yeah. Well, outside of the program, Rick does give a lot of help to people. Yeah. I remember 2 years ago when I was on the street, Rick was asking me to call him if I needed anything or whatever whatsoever, because he's a good guy. Rick is a marvelous of a Superman.
Oh, well.
Okay, that's why I called him the Superman.
No.
Rick likes Superman.
I do like Superman, but I'm inspired by Superman. I think
you're our Superman. You're our Superman.
Yeah, we all have a little bit of Superman in us, but no, I fall short of that.
Well, no, we do, but when you just think about all the people you help, all the voices you take in, and you listen, and you give them some comfort, and you do what you can. So I think that's your contribution, and I think that's pretty big.
Well, that's what the platform is for, and that's what everybody is doing here, right?
Rick is a father figure for everyone.
Yeah, tell my kids that.
Don't ask your kids.
You don't know anything. Who just joined us on the line?
I know.
It's Sandy.
It's Sandy. Hello, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Dragon. Hi, Carol.
Sandy,
So
you
can
phoned
I
me.
say-
You phoned me just before the program, and you said you're a big fan of the LAPD because of the big car chase, and you wanted me to show that on the program tonight. So I did.
Yeah.
I looked at the link that you sent, but the problem, Sandy, is that particular car chase was from like 3 months ago. So it's not really news. It's very dramatic stuff, but I didn't run it tonight. I appreciate you sending it, but it's not really news anymore. It's more like history at this point.
It's
so
old news.
It's old news.
Pretty old for 3 months, right?
It is, but still very kind of entertaining to watch the car chases. Yeah.
Certainly was.
Yeah. It's reality.
And you know
TV.
what? I want to say one thing to Danielle Smith.
Okay.
Excuse my language. Fuck you.
Oh, okay. Well, Sandy's in a bit of a
Fuck
mood.
you.
Okay.
Because you know why I say that, Rick?
Yeah.
Our weather.
Your weather.
The weather. It's been 33 degrees from Alberta, and the fires and the humidity that we're getting down here in the swamp is horrific.
Okay.
Sandy, where do you live?
Powassa Lake.
Oh, you're in Ontario.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought you were in Alberta. Okay.
Okay. I
No,
don't know
but
what
we're
that's got.
feeling Alberta. We feel it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
We're
That's hot
feeling
stuff.
the heat. We're feeling the humidity. We're feeling it. And we got rain yesterday and a little bit of rain today and pretty much it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hot.
Yes, sirree. It felt like 35, 40 degrees here.
Wow.
Yes, it's some of that smoke there, Sandy, from just knowing what I know. Now I know it's coming from northwestern Ontario, so we can't blame Danielle for the whole thing.
Oh, well, I do. I blame her for that because the people down there are suffering. They are suffering up there.
Okay.
Well, I don't know who else I'm gonna blame for that, but I took yesterday about 4 bowls of ice cream just to get myself at the right temperature at some point in the day. So I'm all good, but I'm sugar nut free at all.
Dragon. You know what I
4
make?
bowls of
Ice
ice cream.
cream. I don't make ice cream. I make ice, and I make a lot of ice.
Okay.
Down the freezer.
So,
right,
Dragon,
Put
did
your head
you
in the
roll around in
freezer.
the ice cream or did you eat it? It's just what you said.
4 bowls of. How do you? That's Dragon. Why don't you just cut to the chase and just say that he ate the whole carton?
I think I did.
That's about 4
Confession.
It took me 4 sitting. It took me 4 sitting to get through the whole thing. So
Aw.
I'm all good.
All right,
What
I
kind
don't
of
know.
it?
That tastes better than ice.
It
I
tastes
don't know
You can
better.
make ice.
Whoops.
You can make
Sorry.
Jello
I don't know where
ice.
you were, Dragon, that you were doing the ice cream thing yesterday, but about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I was driving into Montreal to the football game. And if you were standing outside, you were probably having a swim.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't
like
think
a
I've ever
swamp.
seen anything like that rain coming down yesterday in Montreal as we were driving in, and thank God we didn't get it when we were sitting watching the football game. But
Well,
it
you
was
know what,
coming down
Lori?
pretty
We
good
need
there.
more rain. We need more rain and a Hail Mary.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Come back on the other side of this. Stay with us.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
And why is that, dear?
Okay, we're back and live
Why
again.
do they chew on ice? Why do musicians chew on ice? Because it soothes them down.
There you go. So that gets us kind of to the bottom of the hour. I'm going to throw it over to first Sandy for a final thought tonight before we get into our Maverick Midnight Matinee. Anything you want to share, Sandy?
Keep on keeping on the flip side.
All right. And How about you? Well, who wants to go next?
Well, I'll take a poke there, Rick. I'll stand up and say regards to everybody from east to west tonight, and thanks for all the calls. And it's good to hear from everybody, and we'll just go from here. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, who's next?
I'll go one. I'll do one.
Okay.
Just keep an open mind, everybody. Everybody just remember, you think there's always more to know.
There you go. And Dragon, why don't you give us your best whatever?
My best whatever.
I was going to say that your best French Donald Trump again, but I don't know if you're prepared or not.
Well, do you think I'm not prepared, my friend? Because I'm always prepared to do the marvelous, the best call-in the show of the world. That is the Maverick, as always, because I love my Maverick family. So, I'm always there for a good call-in, right?
All right. Okay, guys, thank you for calling in and helping. And thank you, everybody else, for watching and participating in the chat tonight. And don't go away. Don't go away, everybody, because we're going to segue straight into Maverick Midnight Matinee, a double feature tonight of an old TV series. I can't even remember what we're running tonight. Tales of Tomorrow, 2 episodes. The first episode, and then we've got another one. The second one is Frankenstein. So they took Frankenstein and turned it into a teleplay for a short television episode. And it's interesting to see that because it has Lon Chaney in it. So I don't know if
short walk on.
I don't know if you guys know who Lon Chaney is or was, but he was actually the Wolfman in the old Universal pictures. And Universal Pictures, yeah.
I do remember that.
So anyway, he plays Frankenstein in this, so it's a different character for him, and a very interesting old show, pre-Twilight Zone. This is kind of, the stuff that led to what we ultimately got in programs like the Twilight Zone and X-Files and all the paranormal stuff. So with that, stay with us. We're going to segue into Maverick Midnight Matinee after this. So yeah, we'll see you for the movie show for Maverick Midnight Matinee on the
flip side.
The flip side. Okay.
Touching the sky. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmos free, running wild, wild as a wind can be. He's a free dog. He's a free dog. He's a free dog. Cosmos got them paws that just itch to roam. He's chasing his dreams. He's far from home. With a heart full of love and a spirit so free. He's living his life. Wild and carefree. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmos free, running wild, wild as a wind can be. He's a free dog. He's a free dog. He's a free dog. He's got the stars in his eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard of a blur. Cosmos on a journey. He's got no chains. He's running through fields, breaking all the legs. Now the night's getting cold and the sky's turning gray. But Cosmo's still out there, he's miles away. He's not looking back, he's got his path to tread. With every step, he's leaving his bed. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmos free, running wild, wild as a wind can be. He's a free dog. He's a free dog. He's a free dog. So if you're feeling lost, just think of Cosmos Run. of freedom. He's got the stars in his eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard a bird, a heart full of love and a spirit so free. He's living his life wild and carefree. He's got the stars in his eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard a bird. Cosmos on a journey, he's got no chains. He's running through fields, breaking all the lanes.
And we are not done because we are now moving into Maverick Midnight Matinee, straight from Maverick News. But you're going to have to watch on anything other than YouTube. We have to jump off YouTube. They don't like it when we run this program. We get hit with all kinds of penalties. So we're jumping off YouTube. Come on over to Rumble. That would be the main place to watch us tonight. When we come back with Maverick Midnight Matinee, we are going to have a double feature, Tales of Tomorrow. Double feature. Again, a program that was a prelude to what came later in programs like The Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, and other paranormal types of programs. So with that being said, let's cue it up and run the intro. Let's get ready. Go get your popcorn. Go get your beverages. Settle in for tonight's edition of Maverick Midnight Matinee.